Good morning. With your permission, I will follow some prepared notes rather closely for the 5-minute allotment, knowing that there will be opportunity for conversation, comments and questions elsewhere in the program. I would like to thank Brett for inviting me to be part of today's session. I look forward to getting to know my fellow panelists a little more, and a special thanks to you, audience participants. As Brett indicated, I serve as the director of the Calgary Institute for the Humanities at the University of Calgary since 2002. That is a pan-university institute answering to the Vice President of Research. The Institute has a number of programs, and one that I take great pleasure in is to involve strategic research projects where we focus on a particular topic matter for usually a 5 or 7 year period. And so since 2006, I've been involved with leading a number of studies on how people place make. That is, how they understand themselves, the world around them, their values, goals, and future expectations in light of where they live, work, and play. While place studies is frequently located in cultural geography, or what I like to claim, given my mandate, humanistic geography, it also flourishes in sociology, anthropology, philosophy, environmental studies, political science, studies of antiquity, and if I can help it, also in religious studies. During 2005 to 2012, my institute was heavily involved in the Imagine Calgary sustainability initiatives, and I attempted to take as much place studies as I could into that context, as Brett knows. So I'm giving you a bit of context on that I am the Martian on the panel here, and I understand that. I've in fact adopted quite actively being a place studies missionary, and it has taken me into very strange settings. In May, I gave a paper at a conference on cities of the slave South during the American Civil War, where I gave a paper on place studies, and I must admit I was petrified. Top drawer people and historians dealing with that topic matter, but they seem to tolerate me anyways. I think we've passed around a handout, and I'm going to follow that handout outline. So if you have that available, or perhaps to share it with your neighbor. I'm starting with framing a context, and Edward S. Casey and his book, Getting Back into Place Toward a Renewed Understanding of the Place World, poses the following question. Can you imagine what it would be like if there were no places in the world? None whatsoever. An utter placeless void. I suspect that you will not succeed in this thought experiment, which is not just difficult to perform. Can you eliminate any trace of place from your experience of things, but also disturbing? Can you really picture yourself in a world without places? Our lives are so place-oriented and place-saturated that we cannot begin to comprehend, much less face up to, what sheer placelessness would be like. Casey has written a number of books and articles on the primacy of place, and his proposal might look like the following. Place is fundamental to human experience, and hence people are profoundly place-bound. This seems so obvious until you begin to reflect on it, and then you realize the penny has really dropped on an essential observation about human existence. Being place-bound invites meaning-making. Why is this happening? What's the point on this? And it provides a way of seeing, knowing, and understanding the world. Our location in the edge of the Rockies in Western Canada is very different than somewhere else in the globe, and that influences how we understand ourselves and the world around us. Place provides an avenue to know the world around us and a way to engage with that world. And this is close to a quote from Casey. The stabilizing persistence of place is a container of experiences, and so it contributes powerfully to its importance and impact. Hence, the idea of place can be characterized as the following. It's a social construct, but a necessary one, an experiential fact of life. It involves social activities and institutions that are expressed in and through the structure of particular places: streets, parks, buildings, public squares, cultural and business centers. I should have made the obvious. And our homes. We make place in our home place, in our social settings. Importantly, place invites a strong sense of attachment and linkage to a community, precisely because it emerges three elements: people, their place in work environments with regular routine and daily life, what is sometimes referred to as a place ballet, that we actually get into going to the right coffee shop in the morning before you go to work and ... Alan Gasso wrote an influential book in the early 1970s titled A Sense of Place, The Artist in the American Land, suggesting that what converts any physical location, any environment, into a place has to do with what he refers to as the process of experiencing deeply. And I invite you to reflect on that, not only today, but as you sort of think about this afterwards. What places do you experience deeply, and what are the consequences? And I think in terms of new immigrants into any country and any location, that experiencing deeply elsewhere that gets transferred or potentially transferred to where they are now. A place is an environment that has been claimed by experience. So the test at the end of the day is, what is place? You've experienced it deeply. Thomas Tweed, in his book titled Crossing and Dwelling, A Theory of Religion, that draws on place studies, offers a number of observations about religions that have application to towns, villages, and cities. And I wanted to cite Tweed simply because I'm cribbing it right out of it. It just makes so much sense that I've applied it to cities and so on. Religions move across time and space. They are not static. It's a figment of our imagination that you can actually say what Christianity is, because it's existed for over 2,000 years and it's moved through time. They leave traces, effects, trails, transforming people, places, the social arena, and possibly the natural terrain. A similar case can be made for villages, towns, and cities. They involve flow, complexity, and change. Importantly, they are not frozen scenes of human activity. Doreen Massey, in her important book, For Space, suggests there are three characteristics of place. It is a product of relationships, interrelationships, that's an important word there. People to people, people to environment, people to other species. Secondly, is a sphere of multiplicity and plurality that is mutually beneficial. That took me about 4 years to understand. Plurality and diversity contribute to the coming to be of place. If it is not diverse, if it's not pluralistic, it may not, in my opinion, it won't thrive. Thirdly, because place is a product of relations, it is never finished and never closed. In light of my comments about place, I offer suggestions that we might pick up in our conversation today. First, communities that affirm their place uniqueness, their placeness, engage a basic human trait, to placemate. And size, I don't think, matters in terms of community. For a newcomer to a community, this is a typo there, a powerful incentive to make a home. Secondly, awareness of place uniqueness invites awareness of how we see, know, and understand our world. For long-time residents and for newcomers, it is the dynamic for community making, community building, inclusion, and acceptance. Third, awareness of place uniqueness invites emotional attachments that are formative, conscious raising, and of social consequence. Fourth, small communities have the capacity, don't tell Calgary or Edmonton, of being experienced deeply, and here I think size does matter, that translates into enhanced social cohesion and community identity. And fifth and last, villages, towns, and cities are characterized by their location, where they are located, and their locale, what goes on in a location, economically, culturally, socially. And here comes the but. But villages, towns, and cities also involve linkage to other villages, towns, and cities through exchange, opportunity, flow of change, as well as flows of plurality and diversity. No village, town, or city is frozen in place. Awareness of this perspective raises enhanced capacity for communities to thrive, a chance for a better life. Thank you.